Beowulf, why this ancient badass still matters, and why modern heroes suck. Yeah, okay. This might be a long one. Right then, buckle up. Because we're diving headfirst into the murky depths of heroic archetypes. We're going from the mead halls of ancient Scandinavia to the bloody multiplexes of modern cinema. And yes, we're going to talk about Beowulf. I mean, that's what the channel is about, so... Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tackling a big question. Why should we even give a damn about a poem written over 1,000 years ago? Because it was written over 1,000 years ago and it's still relevant today. Maybe that's why. Anyway, because Beowulf, that big, boastful, badass geet, embodies something primal in the human spirit. He is the ultimate problem solver, the guy who you call when a monster is chomping your mates. His courage, strength and honour rolled into one glorifying oversized package. Gloriously oversized package. This cup is really hot. Let's be honest, modern heroes. Well, many of them have gone a bit soft. So let's explore why Beowulf is still relevant and whether modern heroes are even living up to that standard. The entertainment landscape is drowning in weak, introspective protagonists who spend more time navel-gazing than monster slaying. And don't get me started on the Mary Sues. There's paragons of virtue and skill who make the blokes look like utter fucking twats. Yeah, and weak and meek and wasteful and pointless. We need heroes who are flawed, yes, but also capable, decisive, unapologetically masculine. Where are the heroes who aren't afraid to be strong, who aren't afraid to, think about pre-Daniel Craig Bond. Casino Royale was good. The rest of them, not so much. Pierce Brosnan, like that kind of Bond. Like I always felt like Pierce Brosnan was like a mix of like Sean Connery and Roger Moore. So that would be cool. Brosnan was at the peak of Bond, I think. Until these last two films, which were shit. Those glorious 80s and 90s action heroes, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, back before they got absolutely emasculated, turned into just men being men and not apologising for it. These characters weren't perfect, but they got the job done. And he did it with a certain flair and a certain code. These days it feels like the kind of hero is being overtly pushed aside. What happened? Oh yeah, DEI, feminism. We must emasculate and feminize men. That's how modern men are now, I guess. And you wonder why people like Andrew Tate are so fucking popular. Fucking idiots, it's your fault. Growing up in the 80s and the early 90s, I was spoiled rotten by cinematic heroes cut from the Beowulf cloth. These are men of honour, pride and selflessness, radiating badassery. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator and Terminator 2 stands out as the high watermark. After that, a kind of slow decline. Then came The Matrix in 1999, ushering in an era of the martial arts hero. The big muscle-bound bloke was out, brains were in, the sense of honour was less of a requirement, spectacle took over. Now, I'm not going to say this is a bad thing, it's just different. Men were still men at this point, but there was that slow decline away from the big muscle-bound hero. And then we hit 2008. Superhero movies got a shot. Starting with Iron Man, the Hulk, Captain America, Thor. A glimmer of hope, embodying that heroic ideal again. Big, strong, selfless men willing to sacrifice themselves. And yet this wave crashed. It crashed hard. 11 years later, 2019, that came to a fucking end. 2020s have been brutal. The traditional male hero deemed toxic by the Hollywood elite, replaced by flawless Mary Sues who can effortlessly outdo any man. What they call DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion, is killing the male hero. This isn't about hating female characters, it's about deliberate emasculation of male characters to make these new characters look good. It's making the men around them weak so the women seem strong, if you know what I mean. I mean, how many movies have we seen lately where a tiny little woman is beating up about 6 guys 3 times her size? Effortlessly. It's just idiotic. Maybe we'll see a resurgence. But here's the thing. In 2025, the tide seems to be turning. And maybe, just maybe, we'll start to see a resurgence of that Beowulf archetype. Is there hope for the return of a classic hero? let's explore what makes the archetype so damned appealing. I mean, this kind of archetype has been around for over 1,000 years. Actually, longer than that. I mean, fucking Gilgamesh. You know, the Epic of Gilgamesh? I have it down there somewhere. I mean, that's, what, the oldest story we have? So, how does Beowulf stack up against modern heroes? To illustrate this, let's take Jack Reacher. If you've, not the Tom Cruise movies, the TV show that Alan Richer, or the books would work better, I guess. Jack Reacher, Lee Child's creation, as an example of what these two characters have in common. First, paragon of strength. Beowulf's legendary strength is a defining trait, ripping Grimdall's arm off, while Reacher is a military police officer, 6'5", built like a brick shithouse, and brutally efficient in hand-to-hand combat. Both men are forces of nature. The second, honour and duty. Beowulf fights for his people and his king, driven by a sense of duty and a desire for glory. And Reacher operates by his own moral code, protecting the innocent and punishing the guilty, often outside the bounds of the law. Both are driven by a deep sense of right. Third, stoicism. Beowulf faces these battles with grim determination, showing little emotion. Reacher is a man of few words, concealing his thoughts and feelings, a true loner who trusts his instincts. They don't wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they don't need a therapist to sort out their issues. Both characters are deeply flawed in their ways. They both have an answer to the higher moral code, even though they can both be ruthless. They're both trying to do the right thing. And that's the important part here. These people always try to do the right thing. There is no grey area, no ambiguity. Studying Beowulf has reviewed a few home truths. First, storytelling wasn't always about narrative prose. It was a this happened, so this happened kind of deal. Monsters just showed up when the poet needed them. There was no need for some elaborate backstory focusing on the action and the hero's response. Second, heroism was timeless. Despite what the Hollywood execs want, people still crave the Beowulf archetype, big, strong, proud, with a masculine honour code, and loved by women. Pre-Craig. Go back to that. Pre-Craig. Heroism is hardwired into our brains. We want honourable men fighting for us, saving us from the monsters we can't face. And some of us aspire to be that kind of hero. Why is that? Is that because it's ingrained in who we are as men? Men? Maybe it's because deep down, we know the world is a dangerous place, and we need someone who can stand up to those dangers. Maybe it's because we admire those who are willing to sacrifice for others. The Beowulf hero is always with us. Whether in a 1,300-year-old poem or in the pages of a Jack Reacher novel, they're never far away. So where do we find them now? In the pages of a Jack Reacher novel. Has studying Beowulf changed my understanding of literature? Honestly, I don't really feel like I had a proper grasp of old literature before. I mean, reading modern fiction is one thing, but reading old manuscripts, that's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different way of reading. I think I'm still trying to grapple with it, trying to get to grips with even like the verse, you know, the alliterative verse of Beowulf. I'm still trying to get to grips with that, even though I've been reading tons of it. But I do aspire for a deeper understanding of literature, both ancient and modern. But for now, the Beowulf hero beckons. This whole process has made me realise how important these archetypes are in our storytelling. It's not just about entertainment, it's about exploring the values and ideals that we held dear. And the Beowulf hero, with all his flaws and strengths, represents something fundamental about the human condition. I've just read up on a translation that I'll get to in a video in the future. Headley, Maria Devana Headley. I will get to that book at some point. I don't really want to, but I suppose if I'm doing this, I might as well have to sacrifice myself for that. I'm going to be the hero you deserve on that one. So what do you think? Are modern heroes up for the challenge? Are we seeing a return of the classic archetypes? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday.